Hey guys, SuperHorrorBro Mike here, and in today's video we take a look at the story of Midnight Maid Night, the tale of two maids tasked with cleaning a haunted house before sunrise. So sit back, relax, and let's walk through this bizarre horror fairy tale step by step. Naomi, a harpy-like character, and her aunt's companion Ruth make up a duo of cleaners who run their own business, the Midnight Maids. While the maids are known for cleaning properties, by listening to their conversations we can get the sense that they have been involved in some pretty hairy situations together over the years. Naomi tells Ruth about the ship of mythical Greek king Theseus. She poses the question if one were to begin to replace the ship's planks over and over until the entire vessel had been rebuilt, then is it still the same ship? While this thought experiment goes over Ruth's head, it will later nicely tie into the story of Midnight Maid Night. As they continue to drive to their next job, Naomi receives a text message from the client informing the maids that their services are no longer required. Ruth begins to panic, reminding her co-worker that they needed that job to make payment on their van for the month. Without a van, there can be no more Midnight Maids. Ruth knows of one other job the pair could take on that night, but Naomi seems skeptical. Ruth assures her that things will be okay. The assignment is a simple removal job, no cleaning necessary. However, it takes place at the infamous Vermander mansion, a location where hauntings and demonic practices have taken place in years past. In fact, regular viewers will remember that we recently covered the story of the Vermanders in developer Z Technician's previous title, The Vermander Curse. Upon arriving at the mansion, things are eerily quiet. The estate has been sold and the previous owner's possessions have been boxed up and are being auctioned off the next day. The original removal company unexpectedly left mid-job, and so it's now up to the maids to complete their task, taking the remaining Vermander family possessions out of the various rooms around the house and loading them into the back of their van. Ruth gets straight to work, loading up spare paperwork from the reception area. Upon returning from the van, she is greeted by Joseph Vermander, the last remaining member of the Vermander family, who is to supervise the maids as they clear out his late father's home. You may remember JP Vermander from the Vermander Curse. He played the villain who summoned a demon to attack residents of a local hospital after he believed the establishment had cheated him out of his tax rebate. By the game's end, after being attacked by the demon he summoned and subsequently nursed back to good health by the very hospital staff he once terrorized, Joseph saw the error of his ways and began to help the community around him. The story of Midnight Maid Night continues on from that told in the Vermander Curse, as well as shedding light on why JP Vermander was originally such a twisted and loathsome human being. Joseph seems unaware that his family estate had been sold and warns the maids that they should not be in the house at this late hour. Things can get very strange. The maids insist that they can only work during the night and that the job must be completed by morning or they won't be paid, and so reluctantly Joseph allows them to clear out the house. While exploring, he regularly takes them by surprise by seemingly appearing from out of nowhere, informing the ladies of the Vermander estate's storied history. The family collected various relics, tomes and books that allowed them to ensnare and control demonic entities as seen in the previous game. We see evidence of these summonings in this room here, a chilling reminder of the family's dark history. Part of this history involved the murder of several people at the hands of Joseph's late father, Jeremiah, who now roams the grounds looking for unsuspecting guests to prey upon. During the course of the night, the Midnight Maids must avoid 3 ghoulish entities haunting the Vermander estate. The first of these spectres is Joseph's father, Jeremiah. He mercilessly searches for victims during the night, just as cruel in death as he was in life. Jeremiah had been a tyrant while alive and carried out many heinous acts. One example is found during this conversation, where Joseph mentions how his father would cook the chefs alive if they prepared his meal incorrectly. These events had a profound effect on Joseph and moulded him into the cruel man we encountered during the story of the Vermander Curse. though thankfully through the kindness of others, he would eventually see the light. In order to avoid Jeremiah, we must use hiding spots found in the walls of each room whenever nearby candles turn blue, this colour change signifying that the spirit draws near. The second spirit is Cornelius, who while alive worked as a butler for Jeremiah Vermander until one day during a snowstorm was sent out to fetch the daily newspaper and froze to death before he returned. Now Cornelius haunts the front gates, waiting for a chance to take his revenge on Jeremiah for ending his life over such a meaningless task. If the maids should linger outside the van for too long while loading it up, then Cornelius attacks, believing them to be Jeremiah from a distance due to his poor eyesight. While he doesn't harm the maids, realizing his mistake upon drawing near, this fright takes away precious time from the task at hand. The final spirit is a fox-like creature known as Agatha. She was originally a servant at the home who fell in love with Joseph. The two planned to elope and run away together, but when Jeremiah discovered this, he killed Agatha and hid her body underneath the floorboards of the house. Not a care in the world for the poor girl, her family, or the emotional damage this act would have on his son. Now Agatha stalks the rooms of the mansion. When the candles blow out, she is near, and if she spots the maids, she will charge at them and move boxes to different rooms, making it harder for them to finish the job at hand by morning. You see, if the house is not packed up in time, then players receive the game's bad ending. Of course, there is also a good one to unlock, so let's wrap up this video by looking at both possible outcomes. Joseph tells the maids that he's enjoyed having some company for once, and over the course of the night, as he periodically shows up to fill them in on his tragic family history, we discover how he sought to make up for the damage the Vermanders had caused. Joseph did this by returning liberated artifacts, treating the help fairly, and lowering the prices on all properties he held title over, so that locals could more easily afford to pay their rent. These acts of kindness were what brought back his vengeful father Jeremiah from the dead, enraged by his son's actions. Remember Naomi's story of the boat? If it is rebuilt plank by plank, then is it still the same vessel? Well, this is exactly how old Jeremiah felt about Joseph's actions. He believed his son had destroyed the Vermander legacy, a family once known for ruling over the local town with an iron fist, now made to look kind and charitable. The Vermander family had been rebuilt into something very different, and Jeremiah didn't like this one bit. So he returned from the dead and killed his son, trapping Joseph's soul along with his father's other victims within the walls of this old house. Joseph has been a ghost this entire time, explaining his knack for sudden disappearances. All of this leads to one of 3 endings taking place, and these endings depend entirely on whether the maids are able to complete their task before sunrise. If the house remains full of Vermander's possessions by morning, then the following ending plays out. The duo had worked through the night right up until the last moment. However, they were unable to meet their agreed upon deadline. As the clock struck 6, the new homeowner arrived, angry that the mansion wasn't in the previously promised condition. The pair promptly left, leaving the disgruntled homeowner behind to deal with an untidy home and 4 restless guests. They were not paid for their efforts. Though they left the mansion unscathed, they were unable to find more work before the month's end, and the Midnight Maid's van was repossessed soon after. Having no way to continue their work, the two parted ways. They both eventually landed new dead-end jobs to make ends meet. Despite the inherent danger of being the Midnight Maids, they both truly missed their time working together. Next up is an ending that occurs if Jeremiah catches either of the 2 maids before they can hide. In this ending, the maids perish. Faced with no other acceptable alternatives, the Midnight Maids ventured into a place brimming with bad omens. And though this was nothing new for the duo, one's luck can only be tested so many times before the worst eventually happens. The estate and its dark, unresolved secrets proved to finally be too much. A mansion with a closet already full of skeletons now added 2 more to its grim history. 6 restless spirits now reside therein. However, if the maids are successful and manage to finish the job without getting spotted, then we get this far more satisfying ending that gives some conclusive answers to the mysterious Vermander lore. Joseph thanks the two maids. After they cleared the mansion of the Vermander legacy by removing those old possessions, the house is exorcised of its demons and Joseph can finally find peace. Agatha now appears to him, and the two leave the confines of the mansion and head into the afterlife to find eternal peace, finally together in death. Jeremiah shows up, furious at his son's continued defiance, and, blaming the maids for this outcome, prepares to attack. But just as things seem desperate for our two heroines, Cornelia swoops in to save the day, banishing Jeremiah to the pits of hell, finally dishing out payback for making him freeze to death over a newspaper. As for the Midnight Maids, well, their business is safe for now, and so they head off into the sunrise to celebrate a job well done. And with that, we come to the end of today's video, and this look at the story of Midnight Maid Night Explained. If you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for more horror related content. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.